this life and the afterlife of the sevenfold way from the inner temple of In Search of Atazoth by Krishnaqayaamat with the Lovecraftian spirit, become of the dark and obscure things. The conservative religion and the atheistic will be set aside for what we can bring. Fiction evokes the dialectic. Reasons are made for the forms of the teaching. Continuation is to be made beyond life, for it is not itself the thing. Crime is, to some, a method of feeding. That doesn't mean that those who choose that life can't serve their nation while looking to ways closer to humanity's beginning. Bathrooms and violating morals are infernal ways of evoking. Whether or not it factors into becoming a victim, carnality is for the awakening. Alternative religion can actually be what prevents some from turning to society destroying. Visions of a spiritual nature connect to a more real form of living. Common is not the problem, but they're not being, purpose, or meaning. Nature is connected to in our ascending. Reckless abandon is not always so, but a way of others descending into a trap of another. Arising will be situations in which to use formulas and to project the peak events upon crystals till you experience their aura. Don't let others control your inner witnessing, or you may go insane. Terminology is lost to those who don't know what is going on psychologically. Self-victimization will affect the structures of which the divine energies could be entering. California is rich for the reprogramming. Even if we know better than to have the same beliefs, our intentions will take their representations towards our choices of experiencing. Initiation into groups can be used for their directing or even dissolving. Connexions are formed with perversion, the taboo breaking, and a twisted sense of Islam. Decisions and roles can be with your partner in life. Modern is not the ethic of those of the primal strife. A mission in life takes you beyond trials and trains with more than a knife. Family can be regarded for those in the military. Things happen to those who oppress their sexuality. Infernal presencing can come with forced slavery, not so much for Allah, but their own selfish ends was why most took part in the robbery. Black flags unite, saying, "Oh, you glorious army of devils with absolute souls. Jeshushayakina. Jalad Jalala Ma'a Nufusel Mutlaqin." Rather than being stuck in the modes, one shifts to the red flags. Liberal arts subtly bring about the authoritarian left's programming. Rather than atheism, socialism, and communism needs its mythology. Some are best to use the attention and take the active role, but others are to be passive and use what occurs to their own spirituality. Decisions can enable a movement to survive. Intoxication and music direct the servile. So much for principles and peaceful protests. Pathworking is not something of which to be neglectful. Never totally taking on the green flag. Some all but raise the white flag. But if you go too far in seeking control, regard the evidential. Nexions should be established as you move about. That which escapes punishment can be used against one. Music and sex has a different effect on people when spiritualized. The ineffable comes with the abrogation and how some are traumatized. The intelligence is what the causal accepts, along with any pleasure are emotion offered in your eyes. From the branches of the causal system and experience of the 10th Enochian key to that beyond the intoxication and emotion of the 13th Enochian key, one is now ready for the view beyond life without compromise. The spiritual skies will no longer be out of view, but you will be obscured from the mundane. But if you hold on to the consciousness of the divine qualities, of darkness and activity, there will be more to realize. The hell to come is not ignorance, nor as desired, but the magical conclusion of the blood pool and the sexual upon the demise of the sinister ones. Finally, one sacrifices the divinized ego of your own reproducing. For now, as a living being, cross the abyss in the way of ever actualizing what you realize as more than a human being. Then you'll see that you predate the timeline necessary to prepare the inner and astral planes, the physical places, signs, and words for your initial to your final initiations. And well, I've already made clear that it's Saturnal, but this story's a series of things about Henry. Kind of reminded about a California cult that I was connected to. I don't remember how long ago, Natura Nefera or something like that. Like basically a monotheistic, if not monotheist group. I mean, I guess you could be a monotheist, where they saw beyond the personifications of deity and the different, all the anthropomorphic and zoomorphic and I guess mineralmorphic or arbormorphic or whatever forms, they saw beyond that. And that phrase, Jeshu, Shayatina, Jalaj, Jalala, Ma'a, Nufusel, Mutlaqin. There's actually a flag that relates to that. The Azadine, the Black Path. I've talked about that in my comment of that book, but some of these things, the 10th Enochian key referring to the 22, and the 13th Enochian key referring to the 42. Was it the 8th refers to the 26? Some of these things aren't mentioned as such. You don't have the Enochian key, you don't have that flag mentioned, other stuff. But this is my commentary on this same stuff going on. And perhaps, so this is the flag here. The first word, Jeshu, Ashayatpin. It's kind of blended together, so I think that Jala and Jalala is mixed in there. Ma'a and Afus and Al Mutlaqin. Some of the Sufi orders get kind of dark, especially when they kind of leave Islam. So that kind of makes sense there. There's also the the Zarpaths, sort of exorcism cults where they sort of worship the jinn rest of the year. And I guess I'll add some supplements to this and my some of the reading that I'm doing right now in terms of linguistic ties to what could be some meanings of the what the Order 9 Angles calls the dark gods. You know, so the basic 23 names.